China has the second largest fleet on the planet today. 12 years ago, they had none. Despite this incredible growth, second place is only the first loser to China. They want the top spot. To achieve this, they must defeat the United States, the current top spot holder. And this is exactly what China plans to do with a constantly growing fleet of Chinese aircraft carriers. China currently has 3 aircraft carriers in its fleet. Every other nation but the US has 0, 1, or 2. China's first carrier entered service in 2012. It was christened the Liaoning. Liaoning began life as a Soviet Navy carrier, but the USSR collapsed before it could be finished. The unfinished hull was sold in 1998 to a Hong Kong businessman with the stated intention of turning it into a floating casino. But he later released it to the People's Liberation Army Navy to serve the nation. Shandong was China's second carrier, China's first home-built carrier. It was a test of China's local shipbuilding capabilities, and it learned greatly from the Liaoning. As a result, the Shandong was commissioned in 2019 with features eerily similar to those of the Liaoning. Then there's the Fujian, China's third carrier, and something for the US to worry about. The Fujian is a world apart from its predecessors. It is larger and far more advanced. The most obvious evidence of this is the array of 3 electromagnetic launch systems on its flight deck. It makes China only the 3rd nation ever to wield such technology, behind the US and France. Virtually every other aircraft carrier on the planet employs ski ramps to launch their aircraft, including China's Liaoning and Shandong. The Fujian carrier pushes China much closer to rivaling the US on the seas, and a 4th one might just get them there. China is building a 4th aircraft carrier according to discussions in the public space, the Wikipedia page of the Fujian, rumors, more rumors, and a recent report in Hong Kong state media where an official said to expect an announcement soon when asked about some future carrier. The question was asked to Yuan Huazhi, a political commissar whose job includes ensuring rumors don't see the light of day. If China's next carrier didn't exist and was indeed a rumor, that would have been the perfect avenue to quench speculations. But he didn't. This gives credence to speculations that China's carrier fleet is growing at a jaw-dropping rate. The Fujian, China's 3rd, isn't even in service yet. The carrier is still being fitted out and expected to be commissioned into service this year or the next. China's next carrier is also expected to be nuclear-powered. This everlasting propulsion appears to be the last major hurdle for Chinese carriers to overcome to fulfill China's dreams of matching the US's carrier strength. The US Navy has 11 aircraft carriers, every single one of them powered by nuclear propulsion systems. As a result, they can all sail the seas for decades at a stretch without needing to refuel even once. Thanks to this almost unlimited power, these massive American vessels are able to go overboard with their capabilities. At 100,000-ton displacement per ship, they are all the largest aircraft carriers on the planet, and their total deck space is more than double that of all other nations combined. The latest of these carriers was commissioned in 2017, and it is the most advanced of the lot. It is called USS Gerald R. Ford, the first of its class. If China aims to build a carrier that surpasses American capabilities, this is the carrier to beat. Here are the capabilities that make the USS Ford such a formidable force on the seas. Top-tier nuclear power. 2 Bechtel A-1B nuclear reactors, the most cutting-edge engines created for use by aircraft carriers, power the USS Gerald Ford. As a result, the carrier produces a hefty 300 megawatts of power, almost 300% more than its Nimitz-class cousins. With such great power comes an impressive top speed of 30 knots, and of course, great responsibility. This power plant can power the Ford for 25 years straight without refueling. This means the USS Ford would only need to be refueled once in its entire 50 years of service. Advanced launch, arrest, and elevator systems. An electromagnetic launch system catapults manned and unmanned aircraft to the sky in the shortest possible distance, and an arresting gear that saves them from becoming sea divers by grinding them to a screeching halt. An elevator system moves aircraft and weapons within the carrier between lower and upper decks. Taking them one at a time, the electromagnetic launch system on the USS Gerald Ford, developed by General Dynamics, is the most advanced in the world. Each of these $450 million systems can launch 4,100 aircraft before faults and packs 29% more power than its steam-based predecessor. The USS Gerald Ford has 4 of these electromagnetic launch systems. The arresting gear on the USS Gerald Ford is also quite the tool. The $700 million system can handle 16,500 arrests before faults and executes its tasks far more effectively than its predecessor on the Nimitz-class carriers. USS Ford has 4 of these arresting gears. The elevator system on the USS Gerald Ford is a $180 million system, packed complete with sensors and computerized controls that allow lightning-quick movements around the gigantic ship. The carrier has 11 of these elevator systems. With such launch, arrest, and elevator systems at the ready in their numbers, the USS Gerald Ford can efficiently move, launch, and arrest the widest array of aircraft of any carrier in the world. Supporting weapons. The USS Gerald Ford packs a lot of firepower, built-in and otherwise. Built-in, the carrier wields 2 Mk-29 guided missile launchers and 2 Mk-49 guided missile launchers to launch surface-to-air missiles and eliminate targets from miles away. There are also 3 Phalanx close-in weapon systems, 4 Mk-38 25mm machine guns, and 4 M2 50 caliber machine guns, all designed to make honeycombs of their targets. For non-built-in firepower, the carrier's air wing comes into focus. Boasting a deck the size of almost 2 football fields, the Ford can host up to 75 fighter jets and unmanned aerial vehicles at a time. In emergencies, this number could rise to 90. These are more aircraft than the air forces of about 60 nations. These aircraft can include a cocktail of FA-18 Hornets, Super Hornets, EA-18G Growlers, E-2 Hawkeyes, the F-35B, F-35C, and a host of other jets that fly off into the horizon to perform surveillance, spot threats, identify threats, or eliminate threats. Then there are the conversations that the USS Ford could be the first carrier ever to wield the U.S. Navy's top future weapon. The U.S. Navy, mighty as it is, has one flaw that threatens its dominance on the seas: its reliance on powerful missiles. While these missiles are also a major strength, recent events around the world have shown their weakness in the brightest colors. On the Red Sea, up against the drones of the Houthis, the Navy was forced to intercept the incoming threats with missiles, which the missiles did successfully. However, the Navy had just intercepted $1,000 drones with multi-million-dollar missiles. A swarm of cheap drones could easily deplete hundreds of millions of dollars worth of U.S. Navy missiles. This is unsustainable, and the Navy knows it. This is where a weapon from the future comes into play: the laser weapon. The U.S. Navy has spent a fortune developing laser weapons. It may or may not have yielded results, but they bravely went ahead with it. And like the saying goes, fortune favors the brave. After years and years of trying, the efforts resulted in Helios, the high-energy laser with integrated optical dazzler. Helios for short is a 60 to 120 kilowatt high-energy laser weapon developed by industry leader Lockheed Martin. Helios's development contract, amounting to $150 million, was issued in 2018, and by 2022 the weapon was ready for installation, testing, and trials. Helios was installed on the Burke-class destroyer USS Preble, where it replaces a 20mm Vulcan cannon-armed Mk-15 Phalanx close-in weapon system on the frontal section of the ship. With the installation complete, the $19 million testing and trials were next. From its vantage point on the ship, Helios would counter unmanned aerial systems and small boats from over 5 miles away. As said earlier, these threats, especially when operating in swarms, have proven too major to ignore, but too cheap to destroy using million-dollar American missiles. Like every advanced laser weapon, Helios has a low cost of fire, reportedly within the price range of a premium cup of coffee. This would tilt the defense attack proportions back in favor of the US military. In addition to affordable destruction, Helios, firing a laser which is a form of light, would strike its targets at the speed of 186,000 miles per second, the fastest thing in the universe. This means nothing can outrun it. Once testing is complete, Helios could be fitted on American carriers to protect them from low-cost targets. With nuclear propulsion, they have an infinite amount of power to meet the power demands of laser weapons, which can continue firing infinitely as long as they're connected to power. Aircraft carriers larger than anything before, operated by the most experienced naval fleet on the planet, and armed with weapons from the future. These are the capabilities that China, its 3 aircraft carriers, and a future carrier are ready to face. At its current pace of growth, though, China just could make it happen. To support either side, give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.